What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to On the Floor with Liv and Cor. I'm Cor, that's Liv. And today is a special edition episode, once again, where we are interviewing the 12 gymnasts of the Big Ten ahead of the Big Ten Gymnastics Championships this weekend. And today we have Michigan State University star Skyla Schulte. Skyla, thank you so much for hopping on today. We are so pumped you are here.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
You are one of our absolute favorites, and it's been so fun over the past few years to watch your gymnastics just be amazing and incredible. You're an incredible and phenomenal teammate. You've been a great friend to Olivia and I over the years, and we always have so much fun when we get to see you. But overall, how's the season been going? Tell us a little bit about how you feel heading into the postseason. Give us a little rundown.
So I would say the season for me personally started off a little rocky because I wasn't able to compete the first few meets due to I had a small tear in my rotator cuff. So, and that was the day before our first home meet against Western Michigan. So that was like a little bit of a I don't even know. I was getting like impatient on like kind of the recovery, and it's not like a full recovery, but we kind of like sped it up for me to be able to be in beam and floor. But bars is coming back very slowly. So, but other than that, like my shoulder's doing way better now. So with the team, I think that we're doing very well. We've never been in the top 10 all weeks of the season so far ever in program history. So I think that's huge for the team. And I also think that each week we just keep finding different things that we can improve on, as well as just like trusting each other in lineups as well as ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, that first meet, I saw this bag of ice on your shoulder and I was like, no, what's happening? What's happening? And it was not my favorite thing because I just want you to be in a bubble and perfect and amazing. Because watching your gymnastics and you contributing in NCAA gymnastics is just a gift to us all. But we're glad that you're feeling a little bit better. I mean, you have been slaying the routines that you've been doing, so it's good to hear that things are coming back and you're finding
Mhm.
that groove. But one thing we did want to chat about was your team. Like as you were talking about records, we love records on this show for sure. One of those records that was set was this year. The first ever gymnastics meet happened on Fox Gymnastics, and your
Mhm.
team was a part of it alongside of UCLA in Los Angeles. What did it feel like for you guys to head out to Los Angeles, compete in front of Poly Pavilion fans, compete against UCLA, but most importantly, make history by the first ever gymnastics meet on Fox? What did that mean to you guys?
I feel like we were told we were going to be on Fox, but it didn't really hit us until after the meet because I think once the meet started, we were kind of dialed in on, just each event, each person at a time. And there's always cameras around, so I feel like during the meet, we weren't really aware that it was on Fox, but then after we were like, oh my goodness, we were just on Fox TV and like everybody's getting text messages. People were at restaurants seeing us on TV. Like, they're like, oh my gosh, like you guys are on TV. Like I thought that was just so cool. And with UCLA being such an awesome team, just like two great top 10 teams going against each other, I feel like that was an amazing matchup. And I loved like the announcers, like Sam Pejic. Like I do a lot of Beam Queen boot camps with her, so it was super great to see her. And like Janae Honest, like she also does Beam Queen. So I liked being able to see like the alumni that were at UCLA that I now work with, like in the summertime. So that was also pretty cool.
That's super awesome. Super awesome.
I love that. I think, there's so much excitement with your program, but I don't think a lot of people know as much as we do about you. And something that I found so awesome about you and just watching you in your career, specifically at Big Tens last year, was the story of your Michigan State legacy with your family. Your parents are two of my favorite people. I've run into them in hotels, in bars, in numerous places, and I've just loved getting to know them. But can you tell us a little bit about the legacy of your family at Michigan State and really what having your parents watch you compete as a Michigan State Spartan means for your family?
Yeah, so my dad wrestled at Michigan State. My mom was a student. They met here at the dorms on campus. And I mean, from then it was just the rest is history. But I grew up, I mean, we're huge sports fans, like regardless of the sport. So, every Saturday growing up, if Michigan State football was on, I would get home from like morning practice and we would be in front of the fire watching Michigan State football. Or basketball season, we would be watching basketball. Like, so anything Michigan State, we were very passionate about. And just growing up, loving Michigan State and wanting to always come here was super exciting. And then before they changed the rule, like that you couldn't get recruited before your junior year, I told my coach in like sixth grade, I'm like, Marco, I want to go to Michigan State. And he's like, okay, like you need to be a level 10 first. And I was like a level 8 or something. But he still reached out to Nicole and she was like, okay, Marco, like maybe call us back when she's level 10. And so then 2 years later, my eighth grade nationals was my first year 10. And she came to watch me at nationals. And I absolutely bombed every event. It was like my beam routine going so great, fall on my butt, double back off the beam. Floor routine, fly out of bounds on my back. Vault, I did a layout because I couldn't get it together. I think bars was actually the only like good thing, but the entire time I'm like, oh my gosh, curlers watching me over there. Like I was so nervous. And then like that summer she had came and watched me practice and then I got offered like that fall. But yeah, so it was Michigan State die or like nothing, like I didn't want to look at any other school. I felt like I had been to campus so many times, like growing up, that it already felt like home. And I felt like what the program wanted to be was something that I wanted to be a part of. So that was super important to me as well. I didn't really have an interest of going to a school that was already kind of like the it factor school, because I wanted to be a part of like a growing program and, help what I could.
And that you certainly have done. Like you have personified that. I have to ask, have you and Curler ever debriefed the level 8, level 10 national, the eighth grade
Oh,
level 10
yeah.
nationals?
For sure. She was like, yep. And then you were just falling all over the place. But like, I had like big skills. So she was like, you were doing big skills. You just like were nervous, which I understood. So then, like, that's why she kept coming back to practice and stuff. And yeah.
It ended up working in your favor.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
lots of time to develop after eighth grade prior
Oh,
to stepping
yes.
foot in East Lansing. I mean, I think that it's a testament to who you are of the legacy, the tradition, but also just the passion growing up. I mean, I feel similarly. My dad was a coach at UCLA. My mom was a student at UCLA. They met at UCLA, and then I got the opportunity to go to UCLA. So I
Mhm.
feel very similarly to what you speak of in terms of tradition and legacy and just energy going in that direction. So I
Yeah.
totally know what you mean. I also like was sitting here, you talking about what Michigan State wanted to become. I mean, you're the reigning Big Ten champions going into this weekend. It's obviously there's a little target on your back in that sense. But one of the most exciting things about our sport is that anything can happen on any given day. And
Hmm.
if I'm looking at your guys' storyline, and I'm going to ask you what your guys' storyline is as you head into the postseason, but the way that I see it is you're reigning Big Ten champions. You lost to UCLA earlier in the season. UCLA is coming in as the favorite to the championship, but you're now in your home state of Michigan, not on Michigan State campus, but with a little chip on your back saying, we want to beat them. I feel like there's some really great energy happening going into this weekend. But what is the storyline that your coaches, your teammates are all talking about heading into the postseason so that you guys throw down an amazing competition and whatever the result is, the result is. But where's your head at?
So I think right now, and I think it carried into last weekend at Elevate the Stage, was we really tried to focus on not it was our team's energy. I think that we try so hard to be perfect sometimes that when we're not perfect, you can see it on our faces sometimes. And we really tried last weekend to just have fun and on it, whatever was happening, you're still have the most energy ever and cheering, even if there's like a little wobble or a step, like because that also affects the person that is on the event. So I think just overall focusing on one person at a time and not letting those little mistakes that aren't perfect kind of set us back in energy wise. Because when we keep up our energy, it just carries on to the next person. So I feel like just staying in our bubble and not worrying about the scores because you can't control the scores. So that's a big thing for us. It's like maybe you did the best routine of your life, but the judges might think not. Like, so it's just little things like that that are going to set us up for success for Big Tens.
I love it. I love it. One thing that I heard from Devin, because I was at Elevate the Stage this past weekend, um, Devin was talking to me about when the coaches submit routine summaries to figure out where the deductions were in some of your routines. She oftentimes tells you guys what those deductions are so that you guys can go back into the gym and really focus on all those little details. From
Mm-hmm.
your perspective as a student athlete, I think it's interesting for gymnastics fans to hear this. What is that like when you hear what your deductions are and then your coach is telling you what they are? And sometimes those deductions might sound a little crazy because I don't know, they say amplitude on a full turn and you're like, I was in the highest releve of my entire life. What do you want me to do? Jump off the beam? Like I don't know. But how do you go back into the gym and keep like dialing in those details when you hear those routine summary pieces?
I feel like it's just more opportunity to get better. I think the judges, there's always going to be something. So I feel like now in season, it's really honing in on like those super little details. Like my legs and my full in have always kind of been not together. So it's like really honing in on feet together, pointed feet in the air. Like they might see those things, but like in the gym, we might not. So I feel like it's just taking their word. I mean, if a judge is taking it, then they probably saw it. So I feel like it's just trusting that that was correct and then rewatching videos and saying, oh, I see it there, or like slowing down the videos on leaps and you're like slightly turned. I feel like I do that sometimes as well. So it's really just focusing on those super teeny tiny details that I feel like are going to get us to where we want to be.
Makes
Awesome.
total sense. Okay, final question for you. We are asking everyone in this series this question, and this is a hard one because the
Okay.
Big Ten is stacked with talent and incredible, not just talented gymnasts, but amazing women. I feel like the conference is just packed with inspiring women with different stories and backgrounds. Can you tell us a gymnast in the Big Ten, not on your team, who inspires you, who you look up to, who you're just excited to see this weekend at the Big Ten Championship?
Probably Maya Hooten. I loved Maya since I was a freshman. I just think that she brings so much good energy to her team, and I love watching her floor and just how she supports her team as well. So since freshman year, I mean, I've been like fangirling over her, but but yeah, so probably Maya Hooten.
As are we, Maya Hooten
Yeah, I was
stands.
I was just gonna say the reunions that are going to happen this weekend
So
in
Oh
Ann
good.
yeah.
Arbor are just
So
gonna be
good.
amazing. And
Oh
I
yeah.
think, after I've been able to work in different universities around the country, there is absolutely something special about the Big Ten gymnastics community.
Hmm.
Um, it's hard to describe, like it's hard to convince other people until you've really experienced it. But as we ask all of you in these interviews who you're inspired by, like we can tell how genuine and thoughtful your responses have been. And it's also really amazing to hear people saying that they're inspired by people that they haven't even met before, but it's someone
Hmm.
they're watching and that they're celebrating, and it's all good. So I think the Big Ten gymnastics community is slaying the game this season. As you mentioned, you guys have been in the top 10 all season long, and that is a record for Michigan State. So,
Hmm.
congratulations to you guys. Very well deserved.
Thank you.
And Olivia and I cannot wait to see you and the rest of your teammates in Ann Arbor this coming weekend at the Big Ten Championship. So, Skyla, rest up, sleep, get lots of sleep. It's a big weekend ahead, but
Hmm.
we cannot wait to give you a big hug this weekend.
Yes, same. I can't wait to see you guys.
We love you, Sky. All right. Well, with that, this is another special edition episode of On the Floor with Liv and Cor. We had Skyla Schulte here, and it was amazing. So, with that, the end of this episode, but we have more for you to come. We will see you guys in Ann Arbor this weekend with some really special content. You guys better wait and see. All right. We'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.